Hello, welcome to Women in Action. And in today's episode, I'm talking about faith in business. I'm talking about my faith in business and as a Christian woman and the journey to success. And I'll be completely honest with you. This was going to be a different episode. I had an interview planned, but at the last minute, this couldn't happen. So that will happen another time. And so I could say that I'm winging it, but actually I'm relying on God here. I'm relying on Him to inspire me, to give me the words, and to answer some really interesting questions. 5 questions that people have asked me about my faith and about business and the whole role of juggling it as a Christian woman in business. So I look forward to answering those questions in a very candid way because it's a real live episode. So I hope you enjoy it.
Welcome to Women in Action, the podcast for therapists and coaches dedicated to making a difference. I'm your host, Beverly Jessup. Join us each week for inspiring conversations with remarkable women who have shattered glass ceilings in therapy and coaching. From overcoming challenges to thriving in their profession, we explore their personal journeys and strategies for success. From online practices to mindset mastery, we provide practical insights to help you excel in your field. Our goal is to foster a supportive community where therapists and coaches connect, learn, and inspire one another to create transformative change. Get ready to be inspired, motivated, and empowered as we ignite your passion and equip you with the tools for impact. Thank you for joining us on this journey of growth. Let's unleash the power of women in action.
Okay, so I'm really excited to do this episode, although I'm really nervous at the same time because I'm going live. I've prepared, got 5 questions, and I'm just going to tell you honestly where I'm coming from as a woman in business. So let's dive in. So the first question that was asked is, can you share with us how your faith influences your approach to leadership and decision making in your business? Well, I'm a Christian, and what does that mean? It doesn't mean just going to church. It means having that relationship with Jesus. It means understanding that He died on the cross for my inadequacies, for my sinfulness. And He was a leader. So if we look at how He led His disciples and how He made decisions, and some of them obviously on the cross was a sacrificial decision to do as His Father had instructed Him to do. And so when I look at my faith, I have to look at Jesus. I have to look at Him as my CEO. God is my CEO. And so whenever I struggle with certain decisions that I have to make, I have to go straight to God and say, look, I really struggle with this. I don't really know what to do. And usually, if I'm being honest, I do go to other people first, who might have more experience in those areas. But as a leader, you also need to be kind of honest to say, well, I don't know the answer. And so I'm just going to perhaps go and find out what the answer is and come back to you. But if I really can't find the answer, then I ask God. And I have to say that there are sometimes when I'm not bringing Him so much into my business when I should do. And when I do, it really transforms things. So the next question I was asked is, many women struggle with balancing career aspirations with faith values. How do you navigate this balance in your professional life? Yeah, that's a good question. Because, as a woman, I've always worked, actually. As soon as I graduated from college in 1990 as a speech therapist, I've worked. The only time that I've not worked is when I went on maternity leave for my children. And then when I decided to set up my own private practice in 2005, you know, I was balancing having my, youngest child. Well, I was just about to have my youngest child, and it was a decision I had to make, is that I wanted to have that flexibility of being my own boss, but also I have to admit I couldn't be a full-time mum. I admire those who can, but it wasn't something I could do, because I really enjoyed being being a speech therapist. And so I carried on doing that. I enjoyed the training of teaching assistants and things like that. And yes, it is a bit of a juggle, but you've got to know what your priorities are, I guess, and God has got plans for you, got purpose for you. I do hold on to that verse from Jeremiah 29, verse 11, that, he's got plans for you to prosper you, not to harm you, to give you a hope in the future. And I really believe that he has given me a hope in the future. Whilst being a speech therapist, I've had an impact on other people around the world, in ways that actually I probably, as I had said earlier on in a live, that I've taken for granted. And it's important to sort of appreciate what you have been given. And my children have been a real blessing to me as well. So whenever I have time with them, and my eldest is like 29, whenever I go to London and spend time with him, or my other son in Bristol, wherever, I have that freedom to do that, because I'm not tied down. So yeah, it's kind of balancing it all. So number 3, what role does prayer and spiritual guidance play in your business journey, especially during challenging times or decision points? Huge part. Prayer is basically like having a conversation with God, having a conversation with your bestest ever friend, because my relationship with Jesus is one that where I could just tell him anything. I can tell him whatever is going on in my head, the good, bad, and the ugly. He knows it anyway. And so when things are going really well, I'm able to tell him that, and I'm able to praise him for all the things that have gone right. Even like, for instance, I was dropping something off for my son, and I was in the car, and I was just praising God. I was just talking to him, just saying, thank you for this and thank you for that. And, it was, that's what it's like, prayer is about thanksgiving. It's about being real with God, in like you would with your bestest friend. So doing that through the good times and the bad times, and really involving him in the decisions. There are times, I have to admit, where I don't involve him in the decisions, and when I do, I'll give you an example. A few months ago, I did a really stupid thing. I gave up what I was doing on my private practice. I thought, I don't want to do this. Let's do something different. I don't know if that's my ADHD brain or something. So I went and did a job as a disability assessor. I did it for 5 months. It was the most miserable thing I ever did. And anyway, my son said to me at the end, why are you doing this job? Because I was like, basically crying every single day, every other day. And he said, I never saw you cry when you were a speech therapist. And so within 4 days of giving up, giving in my notice, I got 4 online speech therapy opportunities, and really lucrative ones. And I took one of them, and it's been brilliant, really nice working with a school, remotely, a college actually, with older clients, and so I don't have to kind of create games, which I've done for a long time on line, but I am now working with older teenagers who are looking at work experience and life skills and conversational skills and things like that. So it's such a blessing, and I was praising God about that. So, and what that taught me is that I was taking speech therapy for granted, and yet that was a skill that God had blessed me with, and that's a skill that I impact people with. So it's important to have prayer in my life. Okay, the fourth question: how do you incorporate principles of compassion, empathy, and service into your business practices as a Christian woman entrepreneur? Okay, so, well, as a therapist, I have to have compassion, empathy, and I have to serve. I have to serve with my heart, because otherwise I'm only doing half a job, really. I see stroke patients, for instance, and I've never had a stroke, obviously. I haven't got personal experience of loved ones who've had a stroke, so we've lost their ability to communicate. And yet I just think we really take communication for granted, and when you lose it, it's you can't imagine it, can you? And so you've got to have compassion on those people. You've got to be able to empathize and to deliver that service. And I think, when my clients see me, they see that. Even if they don't know I'm a Christian, they see that. And I've had recently someone say to me, he's actually a Buddhist, and his mum's had a stroke, and he'll send me things about Christian stuff, which I think is quite funny, because he obviously knows that it plays an important part of my life. And that's a great thing about being your own boss, is that I can share things like that about my faith with others, and I'm not going to be told off, oh no, you're not allowed to talk about that at work, because it's my business and I can do that. Right, so number 5, this is the last one. Can you share a specific example of a time when your faith helped you overcome obstacles or make a difficult business decision? I think, when I had to make that decision of leaping from a paid position, that security of being in a paid position, and then saying, right, I am leaving this, I'm going to set out on my own. That was difficult. And when I took the leap, it was a big leap, it felt. But, I'm not saying that you should do that straight away. Maybe you kind of you do a bit of both. Maybe you do a little bit of part-time work, and then on the side you set up your private practice. Whatever it is, you need to do it in a prayerful way. And so that's what I did. I did a bit of both, and then eventually went straight, or full-time into private practice. But one of the things about private practice was I wanted to have the freedom. That was really important to me. Creativity and freedom is really important. To be able to spend time with my kid. My youngest one, I homeschooled for 3 years when he was having problems at school. And, being part-time and having that flexibility allowed me to do that. And that's what I want to encourage other women, that they can do it. It might feel like a big obstacle to overcome and a big decision to make, but once you make it, it's real, and you find ways to make it work and to make it a success. And so I found ways of like using Google Ads and making that profitable, and to charge what I was worth in order to be able to sustain the income that I had grown accustomed to, and to be able to still have that time with my family. And as my family have grown, flown the nest, and I've been able to do other things, and I've been able to think about running other businesses like the Christian art journaling, which is something that, I really, really love doing, running these retreats. And on the island, I've done them twice now. And it's really been beneficial for women to see how they can sort of unleash that creativity inside of them and listen to God whilst they're reading the Bible and doing art, and knowing that they have got that artistic thing inside them that needs to be let loose. So yeah, so that is something that I really love doing, and I encourage other women to do. And that is something that, in October, I'm going to be doing a whole retreat in Italy, so for a whole week. And so if you're interested in that, head over to Christian Art Journaling and, check it out, because it's going to be absolutely amazing. So, join us at the next retreat if you're able to do that. So that's it for me for today, and thank you for listening to Women in Action. And I can't wait to speak to my next interviewee next week. Hopefully she's able to do it. I'll let you know nearer the time. So have a lovely weekend, and if you have any questions about Christian Art Journaling, about Maven Business Haven, then just head over to the websites and let me know. So I look forward to seeing you next week.
As we wrap up today's enlightening discussion, I want to extend a heartfelt invitation to each of you. Don't forget to explore our shop, www.christianartjournaling.com/shop, where you'll find a treasure trove of digital journals and tools designed to help you draw closer to God and discover your purpose. But that's not all. I'm thrilled to share an exciting opportunity with you. How does a transformative 7-night retreat in the picturesque setting of Umbria, Italy sound? It's a unique experience I've crafted for ambitious Christian women like you, where creativity and faith intertwine, nurturing personal growth and spiritual connection. Spaces are limited, so don't miss out on this incredible opportunity to embark on a journey of a lifetime. Secure a place for today for only £895. Visit christianartjournaling.com/retreat for all the details and to reserve your spot. Thank you for being a part of our community here at Christian Art Journaling. Let's continue to grow together in faith, creativity and purpose. Until next time, stay inspired and remember that your journey towards God and your purpose is a beautiful one.